This is the video lecture to accompany your text lecture about conducting academic research. The first part of that lecture talks about how Wikipedia is a great way to get yourself up to speed on a topic, maybe alert you to some names, some dates, some important facts about whatever it is you're researching. The next section of the lecture talks about using effective keywords. And I've selected Google and Bing simply because they're two of the more popular search engines, and because it's always a good idea to run your search in multiple engines. If you're like most people, you only look at the first 1, 2, maybe 3 pages of hits. And if you do your search in different engines, what appears on those top 3 pages might be slightly different. You might find a source that you otherwise wouldn't have stumbled upon. Let's assume I'm writing my first paper about local communities on Texas education. It would make sense if that's what I typed into Google. I get 622 million results. There's no way I'm ever reading that much, but let's see what I got on my first page. There's a lot of links to the Texas Education Agency. There's a couple of news articles about legislation that's been going on. That could be really useful. And then there's some Wikipedia entries, etc. All of this is a good way for me to familiarize myself with Texas education, all the laws behind testing, employing teachers, etc. But what if I already have a more specific claim in mind? What if I've decided I want to write about standardized testing in Texas? Well, this gets me down to just under 2 million hits. That's way better. News article, nonprofit organization, news article. There's Texas Education Agency again, talking about the STAR exam. And for those of you who don't know, that's the newest K through 12 test. This says, too many tests save Texas schools. Texas House eliminates funding for standardized testing. Because I already know what my specific topic is, I'm able to do a much more specific search. What if I put this phrase in quotes? That gets me down to 42,000 results because I asked Google to give me only those sources that have this exact phrase, standardized testing in Texas. As I'm scrolling, there's a lot of good information here. So my top hits in Google are the truth about standardized testing in Texas, Texas Senate votes to substantially reduce number of tests. I'm going to run the same search in Bing. This gives me 23,700 results. And notice DallasNews.com, WashingtonPost.com, StandardizedTesting.net. The top 3 hits here are not the same as what I got on Google. Hopefully this will help persuade you to try a couple different search engines. It's also not a bad idea to keep track of the keywords and phrases that you're searching on a piece of paper, in an electronic file. So if you have to stop your research and come back to it at a later point, you aren't redoing searches that you've already done. That about sums up what I have to tell you about keyword searches. The end of your text lecture is about using library databases. You pay for these, it's part of your library fees. And if you're looking for high-level academic research, library databases are a great place to explore. I'm at the Prairie View main page, and if I go down to academics, the second option is library. There is our distinguished John B. Coleman Library. And I'm going to go straight to the section that says Research and Finding Aids, because that's what I want to do. I'm conducting academic research. I can look for books. Have you ever actually been in the stacks of the Coleman Library? That's what you call all the shelves of books. There are quite a few books. Some of them are very useful. Don't discount this as an academic research option. If it's 3 a.m., however, and you can't get to the library, you're all the way in downtown Houston, you're probably hoping to find something online. I suggest starting with article subjects. When I click on this link, it gives me different headings, and you can probably find your major here. And each of these headings maps to a set of databases that tend to contain information related to these topics. Here's one on business, there's health and medicine, education, mathematics, there's psychology, here's criminal justice. Whatever the topic of your paper, you should be able to find a subject heading full of electronic databases. My paper for English 1133, if you recall, is going to deal with standardized testing in Texas. I'm going to check out education. Because this is the database in your text lecture, I'm going to show you ebscohost. If I choose ebscohost web all databases, EBSCO will search a wider variety of sources for me. I'm going to select all, and here is a search menu that looks a bit like a search engine. The nice thing about this, however, is that I already have a lot of search options built in. I'm going to limit my results to full text. That means I can read absolutely everything online. If a professor tells you, I only want scholarly sources, I only want peer-reviewed sources, you can ask EBSCOhost to return only that information as well. I'm going to paste in my same search term and then click the green search button. EBSCOhost found 24 results. That's all. My first hit is from 2001. This might be useful for background information toward the beginning of my essay. A newspaper editorial from 2012. A magazine story from 1999. Notice all of these say HTML full text. Sometimes you'll also see a PDF option. When I click on this link, it sends me to the actual source so I can read it. I can listen to it as well. To the right, you'll see your tool options. One that I want to point out to you is Cite. Notice the note at the top. Make any necessary corrections before using. Pay special attention to personal names, capitalization, and dates. If I look at this reference entry, it is very good APA format. If I had read this in the Lubbock Avalanche Journal, I didn't. I would need to copy, paste this, and then add information to show that I retrieved this from a library database. I go through this to show you that while citation format is available in EBSCOhost, you need to use it very, very carefully and go back and add any necessary information for the database itself. To get back to my article, I close the citation format. Here I am. If I'm not working on a personal computer, or if I don't have time to read this, or if I want to make sure that I have the source for later, I can always email it to myself. You enter your email address, put in a subject, and you'll notice it's already default checked HTML full text, so it will send me everything that I need. And if I want to, I can request that EBSCOhost sends me via email its version of the APA citation. This is a really great feature to keep track of your research, to be able to go back, reread it, find more quotes, double check on information. All of these tools are available in most databases that you might look at. So browse around, see what's associated with your major. As with web searching, it's never ever a bad idea to use more than one database when you are conducting academic research. And there you have it. If you didn't already know how to use databases, some of these tips and tricks about keyword searching, now you know.